Hello, and welcome to the Cape Warlords reaction to the Angels Take Manhattan. That rhymed. That was unintentional. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Anyway, now, for a start, this is the episode that has had the build-up. It's written by Stephen Moffat with the Weeping Angels, and the Ponds will be departing. Now, this episode has had a big build-up. Does it live up to it? Yes, it does. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it. This is an excellent episode. Now, the Pond's departure is handled well and everything, but I really believe I should begin at the beginning here. Now, at the beginning of the episode, we have one of those great 40s detective things going on, where there's all these detectives, like, well, there's one of them, and it's like a 40s detective moment in America, in Manhattan, and it's just great. I love those, where it's all detective-y and everything. It was just fantastic. I love that opening, and then we have the credits sequence, the bit, and then we cut to the Doctor, Amy and Rory in a park, and the Doctor is reading a book, which is actually published by River, and is sort of a bit like the spoilers book, and they're not supposed to read ahead, and River had to break her wrist. Now, speaking of which, the River breaking her wrist, yes, Paddy, her wrist. Now, the Doctor healed it up with his regeneration energy, but, I don't think he should have done that. Healing it up, no. It's your regeneration energy, mate. She would have healed it. Why did you do that? Since when could you do that? I mean, I'm sure in the classic series, a companion will be wounded or dying, and the Doctor could have done that, but he didn't. Now, if I'm honest, I'm a bit like, no. In my opinion, River should have had a broken wrist in this episode, but that's my one thing I didn't like. Apart from that, it was great, so don't get me wrong here. I'm sure some of you have already disliked this, thinking, oh, he didn't like a bit of it, and it was a great episode. Stuff you for disliking me. Yeah. Anyway, all in all, the Angels are handled well, and I quite liked how the Statue of Liberty was there. The Statue of Liberty being an angel. That was something, if I do say so myself. I mean, yeah. Statue of it. Angels, or Statue of Liberty, Statue of Angels. There was also the baby angels, in the basement. I was looking for the word. And there was all these different types of weeping angels. Now, I think I should perhaps say a few words about the Pond's departure. It was sad, emotionally moving. I mean, it just did such a good job. But all in all, I don't want to spoil it for you, but we do have a somewhat happy ending here for the Ponds. So, Now, it's the last of the 5 episodes, meaning Doctor Who's now over until Christmas. No. But, fortunately, Christmas isn't too far away, and that's when we'll have Jenna Louise Coleman coming as the new companion, at least from the trailer afterwards. If you watched it and turned it off, at the end of the credits, there was a little trailer for the Christmas episode. Tiny little trailer, but still, it was there. Have I much more to say about this episode? Yes, I have. Now, I liked how we had the angel chained up in that guy's mansion, and that was sort of, It's a bit like in Death to the Daleks, where they took away their guns for a bit, just to see what they're like without them. They took away the Daleks' guns in that episode. It was John Pertwee who's in that one. I have it on VHS. I own lots of the classic series on VHS. Anyway, what I also quite liked was, just basically how the angels moved in this one. How they'd gone back to taking you through time instead of snapping your neck. Like in Forest of Angels and Forest of the Dead and Time of Angels, was it? I've forgotten. Series 5, but sorry, I'm terrible with remembering things. You wouldn't think I'm the best, but no, I'm terrible at remembering everything. Now, another thing here is Manhattan. I think it was around the 40s, so I think this is before Evolution of the Daleks. Yeah, probably. No, it's after, because the Empire State Building had been constructed, so this happens after Evolution of the Daleks, which wasn't the best of episodes, but I still liked it at Daleks. You can't beat that. Now, was it the best of the series 7 episodes so far? I've narrowed it down to either this one or Asylum of the Daleks, despite the fact in Asylum the Asylum Daleks weren't featured enough, but I can narrow it down. This one was also great. Now, one of the things I thought that I might address was perhaps River in this one. She appears in like a detective type style thing, and as I've mentioned before, has to break her wrist and whatnot. So I'm quite glad they got Alex Kingston. At the end, it was they were talking to the Doctor about don't be alone, whatever you do. So he doesn't feel too bad about taking a new companion somewhat soonly after... Soonly? It's not a word, but it is now. Soonly after the Ponds have departed. Now, I mean, I can think of ways the Ponds could have survived. Now, here's a way they could bring them back. If you want to hear my theory, go on then. Now, you know, in Series 3, the Master had that thing that aged people. He could have aged Rory and brought him back because he was bringing Rory and Amy out to unite them with the Doctor in a second game of Rassilon, like in the Five Doctors. Yeah, that's my theory on how they could have survived. The gravestones were all written, and it was something to do with the return of the Time Lords, returning, because we got the Daleks back after the Time War, and we got Skaro back, so why not have Gallifrey back, and why not have the Time Lords back? So, you know, that's my theory on how they could survive it. That's not going to happen, I would imagine, but that's the way I would bring them back if I was the writer and I was told to bring them back by, you know, someone like Moffat, who was in charge. Now, I'm sure it was quite a tear-jerking moment when Amy and Rory departed. I'm not a very teary person, so I wasn't crying. I should have been. I was a Doctor Who fan, but I wasn't. But, you know, yeah, I like the way they departed. They handled it well. Now, all in all, this was a great episode, which I am going to give an easily accomplished 9 out of 10. This is the Cake Warlord saying thank you for watching my reaction video. Please subscribe, like, comment, yada yada yada. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.